Hi, Sandra here. I'm gonna make some stuffed peppers for you today. And I have already cut the peppers in half. I cut them lengthwise. They fit in my pan better. And I do make TV dinners, and the plates ain't deep enough for the stuffed peppers the other way. So, because normally if I wasn't sending them on the road, I would actually just take the top out and you'd stuff the pepper, but I cut them in half. It's easier to get the seeds out this way too. So that's that. And I have 2 pounds of ground beef already browned up with a very large onion. It said to medium on the onion, but I personally like it with lots of onions, so I added extra. And now I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning and 2 teaspoons of garlic pepper, and it's got the salt in it already, so we're going to just go with that. And now it says to add put some tomato paste on the bottom of the pan. It says, I've read several recipes and they're all different, so might have to add a little bit of water to it too, but we're gonna see. I'm just gonna, this is my homemade tomato paste that I made this summer. Canned it. I had lots of tomatoes this summer, so we did. And might have to add a little water to this because I'm sure this is so that it steams good and doesn't stick, rather than using oils. So we're gonna just spread that around in the bottom, kind of. But as you can see, I kind of just improvise depending on what I have here. You can do the same thing. I've actually made stuffed peppers. I've just did a meatloaf mix and stuck them in there. That was pretty good too. But I thought this time I would make it with... Okay, now I've added the spices. We're gonna add riced cauliflower instead of rice. I like to make things low carb. And so I'm going to just add 1 pack. I've made it without anything, any veggies or any rice. It turns out that way too. And that would be also keto. So I'm going to stir this here in here. And I'm going to get a spoon and we're going to stuff our peppers. Gotta lay our peppers back in here, kind of the way I had them. And I laid it in with the end that was cut out like this together, so I'll just put the meat mixture across the whole thing, so that won't be a problem with it falling out because it'll just literally go with this. So anyway, stirring this here up. Looks good. And like I say, I just used a packet of that cauliflowered rice, and it should work. Now, get me a big spoon. Not the real big, but now I'm going to just move my cups out of the way. I'm going to spoon this here. I can turn it off. And I'll just spoon this here and here. Kind of tap it a little bit and it'll go down in cracks a little. You want it to fill it up good, not This is a pretty easy recipe when I'm doing it this way. Anybody can make it. I didn't add any moisture around the bottom. Maybe I will after I get these stuffed, because I'm just thinking that that might just burn on the bottom if I don't add more moisture, because I'll cook it for 35 to 45 minutes. So well, it looks like I'm going to have a bunch left over. But I have a couple more peppers back there, so I can do a small bowl with a small pan afterwards, so I'll just save it. So I'm going to go all the way across the low part, put a little bit more on here. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to stick this in the oven and bake it for 35 to 45 minutes. So I'll probably set it on 40. We'll bake it for 40 minutes. Here she goes. Bake timer up to 40 minutes at 400 degrees. So we got to change the temp too. So start. Okay, she's running, and in 45 minutes, 50 minutes, give or take. That should be ready to, actually it'll be ready to add the mozzarella cheese. And then we'll let it sit, bake it a little while longer so the cheese melts, and we'll be ready to eat it. We'll see if this in here dries out, because if it does, then the next batch that I do, I will add more moisture to the bottom. So experiment with your cooking. Don't be afraid. It's always turns out. It just might be dry and you might not be able to eat the tomato on the bottom. I assumed the tomato was going to go inside, and that's where I would have put it, and I wouldn't have put anything, because the peppers moisture will come out of them peppers. So it kind of surprised me that you put the tomato sauce or paste on the bottom. So maybe next time I'll put it in here. We'll see. I will catch you later when that gets out of the oven, and we'll taste it. Break our fast. Okay, well, I'm back, and I am going to try that. I am going to go ahead and put my tomato right in and I'm going to stir this up. I'm also going to, instead of putting the mozzarella cheese on top, I'm going to stir that in too. Just sounds good to me that way. So we're going to stir this. Mozzarella cheese right in here. I'll sprinkle it on top too later on. We're going to just put about half of it right there. And stir it. And then I'm going to just pour it on top of my peppers, which it's going to be more than what'll fit on top of the peppers, so it'll overflow into the pan, but that'll be good too. All the peppers I have left, so we're going to just dump it on. that's gonna be good. And then I will bake this for the same length of time as I'm baking the other, and it'll be good. But I'll add the other mozzarella cheese after it's done, so it can just melt into the top. This is kind of mixed in, so it really don't burn when it's mixed in. So we will catch you when they get out. Then we'll compare which one we like the best. Okay, we've got it done. I've got both of them done, so we're gonna sample and see which one turned out the best. The one over here, the light colored green bell pepper, is the second one I did, where I mixed the sauce right in and the cheese, some of the cheese right in. So that one's really hot. That one's not as hot. So sample that one first. It's good. The meat on the top is kind of a little dry, but
Both very good.
did you try the other one too?
Yes, I like the hot one.
The hot one. So it's a little more moist, right? So mixing the tomato in with it turned out a lot more moist. So not that I ever make a recipe that's twice the same. Next time it'll be different. I was thinking that would really be good is putting salsa in it for my tomato. So maybe next time I wouldn't need as much of the other spices because salsa is so spicy. If you like what you see, like it and share it. And I have a lot more videos on natural green creations. Check us out.